All right. So, good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock. How's everyone's morning been? I am super excited. Literally, right before I clicked open the Zoom, Canada Post came with our 2019 team recognition gifts. I went with your guys' feedback that you'd like to add a little bit of bling to your wrist. So we're going to shift away from the educational recognition that we've been doing for the last 2 years. So I was really excited to see that come in. Super awesome service from Rocking Vibe. I placed that order late Sunday night, and it's here at my house already by noon on Tuesday. So that's pretty awesome. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hey, Susan.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right. Well, I'm super excited to be back with you guys for a monthly team call. This will kind of flow and look different each week. We're not, I think I initially said that, we would recap results and all of that, but that gets, thrown up the first week of the month, and you guys can tag your builders and see your results. But something I'll throw out there, especially for some of you guys that are on the call right now, you've been building your businesses for a while, that if you're not currently keeping track of your numbers at the end of every month, start that habit, because it's really cool to be able to track your team's growth and look back, a year from now and see where you were last year and just compare your month over month. So some of the stats that we record, and I actually have Dan do this for me. So if you have, a partner in your household who wants to know a little bit about your business or be a little bit more involved with your business, you guys can kind of look at dividing and conquering based on your skill sets and what people have an interest in. But I'm generally not like a very detailed person who wants to, track all of that stuff. So I'm glad that Dan does. But if he wasn't, I would do it, obviously. But you can track your overall volume. Generally, the things that I compare are the overall volume, the number of new team members that have joined, so number of customers that have joined. You can look at rank advancements. You can look at you're mostly just looking at your overall volume growth, and then there's lots of things that you can dive in and dissect with your back office that we're not going to talk about on today's call. But you can start looking at retention and the number of people on LRP and things like that. So biggest thing you guys want to track is your number, right? That's the most scalable thing that you can compare as your teams grow, is the number of people coming into your organization and how your numbers are growing. So with Diamond Club, we're in our second month of people doing Diamond Club. You guys will probably start to feel that growth in your numbers, especially if you've got anybody in your downline, or if you yourself are doing Diamond Club. That's obviously going to affect your overall numbers. And that also kind of carries in several months after Diamond Club ends, where you've got, people that maybe attended a Diamond Club class, and then, a few months later they get down into their understanding more and loving their oils, and then they get on LRP. So, on the topic of Diamond Club, we'll maybe do a call next month, just hearing from some of you guys who are in the middle of it or have completed, previous seasons of Diamond Club, and just share what that's actually like and how it benefits your business. But it's a huge gift if somebody ever asks you to sponsor them, or if you yourself want to get out there and connect with your team and your customers in different places. It has such a massive value to your business growth and your income growth, and just the number of ways that you can expand and grow. So promotions we've got in the US. If your customers want to enroll in the US, they get to take advantage of the 20% off kits, which is awesome. Huge savings with that promotion, and they can actually double dip. So in Canada right now, if they enroll either in Canada or the US and they place a 100 PV order next month, they will get the vitamins for free. And I know a lot of you guys take your vitamins and talk about them, so that you've probably got people that, this makes a really good conversation to circle back and discuss with people that you've been talking to about your oils. But you could get them enrolled in the US with a kit. They could do their LRP in Canada next month and get the vitamins. So they can kind of combine both, the best of worlds. But let's just kind of dive in and talk about like this time of year in your business. I'm like coming up along with Jen, and I don't know if anybody else here started back in like the early days of 2014, but it's kind of cool to have seasons come and go where you can kind of reflect and start to find this predictability with patterns. But there is so much momentum just in business and retail in general in what they call the fourth quarter of the year. So you'll often hear about the year kind of being chunked out in quarters. So as we kind of head into October, November, and December, this is when like your numbers will explode. This is when you're going to have the best luck connecting with people. You've got people that are coming out of the days. You got people coming out of their summer haze, back into the routine, back into cold and flu season, back into wanting to just get educated before they start getting overwhelmed with Christmas. So this is the time to capitalize on the people that you've, connected with and have in your contact list. If you guys were on our call about a week ago, Sunday, for new builders, I talked about having a contact list and how that can be one of your most highly valued tools in your business, is keeping track of the people that you're having conversations with, what you last discussed, what you can next send to them to kind of enhance, their education and continue to drip on them so that your follow-up never has to feel yucky. But this is the time of year, right, where people are ready to kind of invest back into their health. I think more so even than like a New Year's, January, February, because a lot of people have those good intentions, but then, a couple weeks later, they're back to their old ways. But I just think, especially for those of you guys that are dealing with fellow moms and school kids, that this is the time where they're kind of eager to sort of up the wellness game within their households. And this is when the momentum happens, right? And the conversations that you have with people, if they don't enroll, they'll be the ones that are ready, next February, March, April. So it's all about like kind of keeping track of those seeds that you're planting. But I want to just kind of open up a discussion around what you guys feel like are some roadblocks that you're experiencing right now, and how we can sort of leverage, some of the people that are on this call right now that have been building for a while. If you want to unmute yourself and bring up anything that you're maybe currently experiencing in your business right now. But I want to kind of just preface that by getting you guys really thinking about the fact that what you get to live in your daily lives right now with your oils is your biggest teachable tool. Like, how amazing that we get to build a business where we don't have to go out and learn some rocket science subject or learn something because you just got hired somewhere and you need the income and you've got to learn somebody else's business or somebody else's product. You guys actually get to teach and build a business off of something that you're using every single day in your household, your family thrive. So let's, have some discussion around that. And I'd love to open it up for any roadblocks that you guys are maybe experiencing right now within your businesses, because it is a little bit of a different game now. We've got people all around us that are familiar with oils, familiar with doTERRA. Maybe they're buying their oils at Winners or at Sage, and you've got this great opportunity to expose them to something different. But let's be proactive with our thinking, and that your lifestyle and what you guys are using every day in your homes is what you teach. So I'll open it up. Does anybody have anything they want to kind of chime in or ask or get feedback on that they're experiencing with their customers? Or
can I just jump in, or do I have to like raise my hand or do something? This is Jacqueline.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm like new to this, so I don't know the proper etiquette. So I just talk, or do I have to like raise my hand or something?
No, just unmute and start talking.
Okay. So I'm really excited because I just started doing doTERRA full time. It's my second week, so I'm like in a quiet house, which is something that's new to me. Yeah, so the season that I'm in my business is actually starting to treat. And so I'm looking at starting to create systems for my business. For the first thing would be customer relationship management. So I've got my follow-ups, but so far to date, I've just kind of been flying by the seat of my pants, and I follow up with people when I think of it, or I'm horrible for these little lists written in multiple notebooks that I have no idea where they are, but I have like lists everywhere and nothing's organized. So I'm just wondering if you guys use any formal, I guess, CRM systems or that kind of thing for your business to keep track of where everyone's at, right from that very first contact right through to, okay, now they're a customer, have I sent them the live guide, have I checked in to see if the host, and so forth and so forth. So where would be a good place to start?
Does anyone just want to raise their hand and say they're in the same boat? Because I still battle that. I saw Josie chime in.
Okay.
You're not alone. And I don't know. I think that's just probably like personality traits, and also being in a business where it's just, we all probably thrive on that like face-to-face connection. And I think you're either born with organizational skills or you're not, where it comes naturally. First off, I'll chime in and say that there is a WholeFit tracking tool, so it's likely in the WholeFit toolkit, and I will try and find it and post it for you guys. But if you want something that's online on Google Docs, Ange has created a template for tracking. Okay. So again, even though that I'm not super good at this, what I try to do is every time I've had a conversation or I've sampled somebody, they go in a list, and then there's just columns where you just put the date and what you had a conversation about or what you sent them, so that way you can kind of see this like column that grows of all the contacts that you've had. Because oftentimes, 4 months might go by and I might revisit that list, and if I didn't actually write down what I last talked about, then I feel kind of yucky about approaching that conversation again, because I'm like, did I already talk to them about a class, or did I already talk to them about a webinar? So generally what I'll try and do is put the date in, September 11th, sent them a webinar on emotions. And then that way I know next time I go to connect with them, maybe next month or 2 months later, I can ask, did they get a chance to watch it? Send them something that's more relevant.
Okay. All right. So there's just like a spreadsheet then, like Excel or?
Yeah, mine is on Google Docs. But
okay.
I feel like I don't think Delyn's on the call right now, but I think Delyn Miller uses a spreadsheet that she's plugged in as well. So I'll do a post and ask people if they have a tracker that they would be willing to share, and then you can kind of just adopt whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good question, though. It is one of those things that it's so key to running a business and feeling like you have some control over where your follow-up goes. But yeah, there's no perfect system. It's just kind of figuring out whether you want it on pen and paper and you make notes better that way.
Okay, great.
Anybody else have any questions they want to grab from the group when it comes to this?
I have something to ask, or I guess to share. So I'm finding that it's been difficult lately getting people to come out to classes. I don't know if it's the time of year and people are they were busy in the summer, and then September is a hard time of year because kids are back to school and programs and all of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's I find it challenging, and sometimes I will like I haven't been always the best at pre-planning a calendar of classes. So this month I said, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to have my calendar of classes for September, and I emailed out. I did personal emails because I know that I've heard and listened to others saying, don't send a mass email out. So I've done personal emails, which took forever, but I felt like this was the right thing to do. Personalized them. Followed up with people who had liked stories and posts on essential oils, and got really targeted in reaching out to people. And it still feels like people, like pushing people to come to classes, and or I'll have like not very many people respond at all, and then people show up that I had no idea that they were coming. So it feels like a little bit of a roller coaster ride here. And so I'd love to hear any things that have worked for you guys going forward to kind of help get more people to classes. I also think there are things that I can do. Like I'm switching up my routine, and I'm, like changing up some things in my daily routine just to kind of bring a new energy to my day and my life. And I've just decided like maybe I need to do some personal work to switch things up and kind of put a different level of attraction out there for stuff. And I know that people say book a class from a class, but I find that really hard to do because a lot of people just don't, the reaction I get is that I don't know if I want to have people over to my house because I haven't even used the oils yet. So I don't know. It seems to be a bit of a struggle. And so I'd love to know what you guys are you facing this? Am I alone in this? Or is this something you guys are facing too? And what have you done in the past to help?
I'd love to have a discussion around this, but can I first say that I love your sense of ownership around having a block in your business and looking at what do I own here about shaking up my routine or my outlook. So that's, I think, a great point that everybody can take, is instead of always looking at like, why is everything on the outside, or why is this not going well in my business? Where do I start with my level of awareness? But I think classes, we've got Sarah Perry on the phone, so maybe she can chime in because I know she's absolutely on fire right now. But I think that that's probably a general feeling across the board right now, is that getting people out physically to a class, especially if you want to build consistently that way, is a little bit tough. So let's brainstorm on this, if something's been working for you guys, and all the other ways that we can shift and serve people that might be outside of a sit-down class.
I just have kind of my 2 cents when I was doing Diamond Club last fall. Important, and I mean, it's a different, but fresh new hosts was huge. So if you're hosting your own classes and you're the one who, the chances that you've been doing that for a while, and maybe your contacts are kind of getting used to being invited to so many classes, and maybe it's easier for them to say no or to push you aside. But I found if I could find a brand new host, someone who had just started using oils, who was excited about the market, hadn't yet been introduced to oils, the classes were amazing. Like, attendance was great, people were eager to learn, and enrollment was almost 100% at those classes. So I think host has a lot to do with it. And then just another thing that I've experienced with time of year, and even trying to get hosts in August and now early September, with everyone getting back to school, everyone wants to push it off. I've had a lot of luck getting people to host Facebook classes. So for the last month to month and a half, I've been doing everything online. It's a bit of a different game, and it's a little bit more work because you have to manage all of those posts. But you can still keep going. You can keep pushing forward, keep building contacts when you're not having any luck getting face to face with people. Just an idea.
I love that.
Thank you. Those are awesome points. What do you do, Jacqueline, to encourage those new hosts to host for you? Do you offer them a thing, or what would be your conversation, your 5-minute call with somebody like that?
It depends on the individual and what you feel their motivation would be, or you could just ask them. So if it's someone who's brand new, who's been to one of my classes, then I say it's a really great opportunity for them to continue to learn. And I say, the first class, it's kind of like information overload. Host your own class and you'll get a better start at using your oils. So sometimes they'll just host for that, for the information. Other times I do offer a host incentive or a host reward. Depending on the person. Or if there's someone who's really close to me, I just say, it'd really help me out if you don't mind. So depending on their motivation, if they're motivated for, to get free stuff, if they're motivated to learn, or to even just help you out.
That's a good point. Last night I taught a class that somebody else hosted for me, and it was quite a ways away from where I live, but she wanted to, I always do a wellness consult once they get their oils, and it was delayed by a month or so. Anyway, she really wanted to do it in person versus over Zoom or Facebook Live. So we actually paired the wellness consult. I went and I did the wellness consult with her first, and then we followed that up with a class, which actually, it was a long day or evening for me, but it actually worked quite well. So maybe that's something that I could kind of try.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's.
Hey, Susan. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry, I'm collecting bags at the luggage carousel here at the airport. Apologies. Okay, so one of the things that has really worked for me the past couple of months is Jen Tansey posted an image in our group about if they host, they get an intro kit, and if they actually get 5 enrollments during the class, they get a diffuser. And I kind of sneakily pinched that image from Jen. Thanks, Jen. And but I say to the people that are hosting that the 5 enrollments don't have to be in one class, because it puts a lot of pressure on them. And so I've actually had people that have wanted to host multiple classes just because they want to get to the 5 enrollments. And I think that has really helped me as well, because they're eager and they have a lot of friends, and not everybody can always come to that one class. So when they do a couple of classes, obviously they have to have like a minimum attendance of like 3 or 4 minimum. But that has really worked for me the past couple of months.
I love it.
Can you hear me still?
Yes. Can you hear us?
So I think that was something that for me has been working, and then just continuing to ask people to host classes. Like, I know for us, because we're the ones inviting, it sounds dreadful, but like just keep asking, you know, and like do it in a polite way and in a kind way and in a serving kind of way.
Absolutely. Thank you. I love that idea. Yeah, there's no shame in using hostess gifts, right? For those of you going to convention next week, something that I think would be fun to do when you're in the oil shops is to maybe hop on a Facebook Live while you're in there shopping around, and maybe you find something cool like a little zip carrier bag or something that's unique, and tease your customers. Say, hey, who would love to earn something from the shop today for hosting a class when I get back from convention? I'll have the new oils. You'll get a fresh sneak peek at what's about to launch. It'll create some curiosity around getting them out to some post-convention events that are happening, because if they don't order a post-convention tour kit at one of those events, they're going to have to wait until December to be able to order a lot of these new oils that get launched. So think about next week, for those of you guys that are at convention, how you can kind of create some teasers. And even if you're watching it from home, you can grab the phone and do some little teasers that way. But I think it's important just to kind of jot down all of the different ways that we can actually connect with people. And that's a season that I need to get back into in my business as well. Something I don't think that's been mentioned yet that I remember hearing at a training I went to in Chatham was going through your existing customers and just looking for those people who are on a really consistent LRP and they're placing, 100 or 50 PV, somebody who's actually loving their oils and adding to their collection. They maybe have a wish list oil that they haven't been able to buy that you could incentivize them with. But they're the ones who are probably already kind of mentioning their oils to their friends and family anyways, just because they're a great customer, and we'll have people that might want to come and learn. And they're also those kind of people that would add a lot of value to your class. So as you're sitting there teaching, you can kind of tee them up to be actually sharing their experiences. And then lo and behold, they've kind of gotten a feel for what it's like to actually like talk and teach about their oils. So go through your existing customers and see who's been on LRP, who's maybe never come to a class or hosted a class. We've got the Facebook idea, hosting classes that way. Just, as Sarah mentioned, just continuing to ask or coming up with a cool little incentive program for the fall. And even just going the route of coffee and oils, right? Or maybe you treat it as an open house. Maybe it's more likely that you could get somebody to drop in, between 1 and 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, as opposed to making a set time. So lots of different options that are much like what we talk about when it comes to just following up with people, is having sort of a list of things in your toolbox that you can approach them with. Same kind of idea goes for classes, but I don't think anybody's alone in finding that it's tough right now to get people to sit down and come out to a class. So continued education classes too, with customers that have already, purchased. Maybe they want to come out and learn how to make a bracelet or learn how to make a roller bottle, and they end up bringing a friend or two with them. So classes can look so many different ways. Anybody else have anything they want to ask right now? Some good topics. Carolyn said it would be great to get a group together at convention for a brainstorm and have finished the fourth quarter off strong. So much power when we're all together. I totally agree. And actually, the nice part this year, guys, is that there's not a ton of extracurricular stuff going on. I don't know about those of you guys who were there last year, but come the last day, I'm like, oh, I just needed to be in my hotel room by myself because it was just every hour of the day was packed with something. So the street party is which night? Thursday? I'm saying Thursday. So that's kind of just a loosey-goosey night. So if you guys want to, put some posts together and pick a meeting spot. I think what they do, if they did it last year, it was in this big parking lot and it's got like different sections labeled as like the lemon section or the wild orange section. So we could pick a section and just get together and jam on topics in person, or an early morning breakfast. I think it would be cool for you guys to make some cross collab masterminding happening. Oh yeah, Kate's reminding me that last year we had a Voxer group going. Shall we do that again? I love that idea. So if you guys don't use Voxer, it's an app that you can have added to your phone, and we could just make it everybody who's going to convention. So if you're wanting to connect with the people that are there, it's just a specific group where everybody gets the notifications. Yeah, it is hard to find people, Kate. Saturday dinner for anyone who stays. Yeah, lots of great ideas. So you guys can keep that conversation going. So going back to just expanding on teaching what we're living right now, I was just, thinking about one of the posts that I was going to put up on my Instagram and realizing how much power we have and just continuing to stay really visible. I've talked about this a couple of times on Facebook Lives, but, if you've had your oils in your home for a long time, chances are that magical ooh-ah of those first few experiences that you have kind of worn off on you. So just thinking about if you were starting your business completely fresh this fall, or you were brand new to doTERRA, or you're mentoring people who are brand new to doTERRA, getting yourself back into that space of magic, of opening up that bottle every morning, right? Where it's something that we do without even thinking anymore. How do we capture that and be really visible with these snapshots throughout our day? Because we are a lot of times in a scenario where it's hard to connect with people face to face, or it's hard to get in front of that people, or you want to supplement how you're reaching people by using social media. I know Naomi and I were talking about this yesterday over coffee, that oftentimes we have these, one-off conversations with people, or you might, connect with somebody at, school drop-off or at a kid's game, where they get a little bit of information about what you're doing, or they might say, oh, how's doTERRA going for you? And you talk about it for 30 seconds. But there's so much power in social media that you guys have by being visible with your daily lifestyle and living, because there are so many people out there that are living similar lives to you guys, with multiple kids, or kids in sports, or juggling jobs, or just living similar lives, but they have no income yet. So you get to demonstrate and be visible with your skill set of knowing how to use oils and just connecting with people on similarities. So think about what's unique about your situation, your lifestyle, whether you are a working mom who's juggling things, or you're a new stay-at-home mom, or you are, just in the thick of life. These are the connectable experiences that we have that get to build trust with people. And if your time is limited face-to-face with people because your life is just fast for you and you don't have a lot of time to just connect and be social, think about how you can up your social media game and connect with people, because that is so far-reaching. And I'm sure all of you guys could think about somebody that you follow. You love their inspiration, you love the education, you love this tidbits of their life that you get to see. Think about how you can start to be that person for your next crowd of people who are looking to connect with somebody, motherhood can be lonely. And I know not all of us on this call or all of us that are watching this recording are in the motherhood game, but it can be lonely, right? And you can have those moments where you feel like, oh, nobody else is going through this, yet we really all are. So it's about sharing your heart, but showing people how to pair oils into that. And that kind of has to be, I think, the evolving piece of this business. Unless you're somebody who's very out there socially and you're in face-to-face a lot with people, you've got to have that kind of ebb and flow to your business. You can continue to demonstrate what's possible by your visibility. Anybody want to add anything to that, or anything that they have personally experienced by starting to be more visible on social media? I'd love to hear from you.
I've actually started doing a lot more Insta stories, just little snippets of things beyond just oils, but life in general. I've kind of been following a few people within the doTERRA world and love what they're doing, and I think it's built a better engagement with me and my business a little bit, and allows people to kind of get a glimpse into how I'm using the oils on a regular basis, and just the other parts of my day too, right? So it's not just oils all the time, but they're seeing those other parts. The thing that sometimes I struggle with is trying to do that and not always have my phone in my face. I've got 2 impressionable kids at home that are asking me to buy them phones, and we're saying no because we don't want you to get addicted to that, and yet here's mom with the phone in front of her face all the time. So it's a bit of a balance, and we've had to have some family discussions about it. Just managing my husband and everybody's expectations, but I think that's working a little bit more for me.
I love that. I like thinking of the Instagram profile as kind of the polish. It's the brand. It's if somebody stumbles upon your Instagram profile, it's their kind of 30-second exposure to whether they feel like they connect with you. And we can totally dive more into the topic of social media and Instagram on another call if you guys are interested. But I like thinking about that as kind of your billboard, your 30-second snapshot. And the stories are where you get to build the trust, where people actually get to see the ins and outs of your life. And I totally know what you're saying, Carolyn, about having the phone in your hand. My kids are smaller than your kids, and they already, see it and think that it's something that they have. But I try and let them know that this is actually like a tool that mommy uses to build her business, so that I actually get to be at home with you guys and pick you up from the bus or take you to all the games or get to come to your classroom. So I use this for my business so that I get to do my business from home. So trying to get them to kind of understand that I'm not just, ignoring them or wasting time, but it's actually a part of what mommy does for work.
Hey, Sue.
Hi, Kate.
I just was going to say something that's helped me shift my focus a little. I tend to fall prey to feeling as though to appeal to the masses, like to post things that, lots of people are going to resonate with, and you'll get a lot of likes and a lot of comments because that will increase your. But I think that resonate with the posts that really come from your heart. They're really inspired posts. I think what's helped me is shifting to just put this message out there because it's coming from my heart, and it's something that really matters. If it affects one person or 2 people really needed to hear that message today, then that's good. Like that's what I want. And because I've been that person for other years, like that, those 1 or 2 people really. So that's just helped me shift a little bit of like why and when I post and the intention behind it. And the other thing is just people are watching even when you don't think they ever are, right? Even if they never comment and never like any of your posts, they're still watching and they're getting a feel for who you are. So that sort of reinforces just, making sure the posts are not for the sake of posting, but because it's, really a message that resonates with who you are and what you believe in. And
I love that. We're all living a story, like 24 hours of a story, right? The story of our lives, the story of our cool moments and our not so cool moments. And every single one of us on these calls have those moments, right? So it's such a cool connective way to build that relationship. Thanks for sharing that, Kate. Josie, I know you've done a really good job at integrating stories and lifestyle. Anything you want to share about that?
Hey.
Hi.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm very sniffly. I love the relationships built. That a real inspiration is just watching others they share and what they share and when they share. Kind of going back to what Kate said too, is that's like when you don't think people are watching, they are, right? So it's just building up the story is and what you're just giving little snippets here and there and engaging with people when they, yeah, I think it's fun. People just like to see it, and it's fun to share things out. And like, is that for Instagram, Mom? Like they, you know, like you said, it's a tool, your phone, and the kids are really aware of that, and they like. So I think that's fun too when I can get them involved. I've noticed that with some of your kids too. Yeah.
Awesome.
I just have one quick question. Has anybody like bought any programs or training on how to do social media marketing, or does everyone just fly by the seat of their pants and figure it out?
I bought one a couple of years ago from Jenna Kutcher. I don't know if any of you guys follow her on Instagram, but she has the social media game totally nailed. She also does a podcast called Goal Digger Podcast. So it's Jenna, her last name's Kutcher, Kutcher. She runs some really great programs. And chances are the one I took a couple of years ago has likely been updated with new information. But she's easy to listen to. She's very engaged. She's very well respected in her area of expertise. So she's one that I would totally check out and follow. Anybody else have anybody that they've learned from or watched when it comes to social media?
Yeah, I've done Jenna Kutcher's free ones because she often will offer free webinars, and they are sort of teasers to her bigger programs, but it's really helpful what you can get from that. And Brittany McLean, she's been doing a ton of social media coaching, so it's a bigger investment for sure, but my upline's been working with her and I think is really happy with what she has to say too. So yeah, those two came to mind.
Awesome, thank you.
Brittany's program is actually running again. I took it the first time, so I'm getting her emails, but she's also running it shortly, I think, if anyone was interested.
In a snapshot, what are some of the things that somebody could expect to walk away with a better understanding of?
Okay, that's a great question. We'll know a couple things. You're totally getting Brittany's personality and her style. So it's not what you hear from everybody. She's pretty bold and unique and really identifies with her audience, and she's very firm in who she is and what she's doing. But she ended up going to a coach, and now she's implementing everything she learned and then sharing that out. So some topics that she kind of covers, it's been a while, so I'll forget a little bit. But one that she talked about too was whether or not to like pay for ads and things like that, which I thought no one really talks to you about. And she lays out a style of how to engage people in your posts. And if you'll notice, probably about, I forget when her last one ran, like 4 or 5 months ago, there's a lot of people whose posts look like Brittany's now because she like lays it out for you of like the grab and that sort of thing, like taking kind of a very literary approach to how you lay out each post. So that was one thing that I think that a lot of people have found helpful. I personally didn't copy her style because it looks like everybody's posting the same kind of things now. But it really gets you thinking about how to engage your audience. And I think that's a really important topic.
I love that.
Yeah.
Engagement.
It's worthwhile for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing those, guys.
Okay.
Good places to start if you're wanting to up your game.
I have a question around beyond just social media coaching. Have any of you invested in a life coach or someone just to kind of get you to that next level? And if so, who and what have you learned? Would you recommend it? I feel like that's in my future at some point. I don't know if it's immediate or not, but I know that I want to get better, and I know that there's only so far you can get on your own. So I'm open to kind of putting it out there to kind of, I guess, gather a little bit more information along those lines. So.
Hey, I'm back. I just keep popping it up. I think, so I have been working with someone for a year and a bit. But I think, and I'll speak to that, but I think before even asking the question, I think an important thing is to tune into what it is you're looking for. Like, are you looking for business strategy tips? Are you looking for someone to help you organize like the path or the direction in your life? Are you looking to tune more inward? So I think having a little bit more of a sense of, and maybe you already have this, but like some clarity on what it is that you are wanting guidance around, or some of the areas you feel like a bit blocked. And then I think like to ask the question, just who have you worked with? There's so many different types of coaches out there, and they can all be so helpful for different phases of your life. And so I ended up working with a woman who is actually more of a spiritual coach, and something I never would have anticipated myself doing. And I don't even really talk about it at all, because it's been for me. It's been like a journey for me, learning a lot more about myself and how I view my life and the thoughts that I think and how I approach relationships to myself and to something greater. And so it's been a huge stretch for me, mentally and emotionally, and really, really beneficial. So, but then I also try to like use coaching just in terms of what's out there, like podcasts and programs here and there, and trying to just tune into a few mentors. So there's probably a treasure trove out there, and I'm more than happy to send you the info for the woman I work with if that feels aligned for you.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kate. Can I actually expand on that when it comes, because I think this is kind of, it allows us to sort of have a mirror into how people are looking at us to choose us to align with. But did you follow this particular woman? Like, where did you scout her out? Were you following her on social media somewhere, building that trust among what she was sharing before you made a decision that she was the right fit for you?
No, I'm really good friends with a woman in doTERRA who's been extremely successful, and I'm so grateful for that friendship. And she had been working with this woman and attributed her to so many successes. And so she put me onto her and said, I think that this will be something really. She does a discovery her for an hour. And I think part of it is she came were really challenging, and I needed that, so it was partly the timing. And I've had months where I'm like, this isn't working, but it's all just stories, and I totally have been. So, which is ironic, but cherish the time that we have, and she's incredible. The beautiful thing about her style is she's not an intuitive necessarily, or like a medium or anything, but she is a very intuitive person. Absolutely has zero judgment. Never ever have I experienced a shred of judgment talks about, and she doesn't have an agenda. And so for me, that's been helpful, because to talk through anything I need to, whatever's on my heart, or, if it's, and she knows doTERRA because she works with a lot of people. She's familiar with a lot of the same struggles and challenges that we have and things that come up. Also very helpful. But we've had spiritual lessons about Costco, so you can take any experience in your life and it translates into all experiences. So, so it was just a bit of faith, actually, a leap of faith. And then, you're welcome just to stop too, if it doesn't feel like it's working, or maybe that's not the right word. If it doesn't feel aligned, if it's just feeling not the right fit, then you're welcome. And she's become quite busy, and so she does group now, which might even be a bit more affordable for some people. I don't know how many are in the group, and she's mostly online because she lives in BC. So I hope, is that helpful?
That was awesome. Who feels a little bit excited about exploring that? I do. I know oftentimes, especially if you're one of those people that like hesitates to ask for help in things, you think, oh, I can just get through this. I can figure it out, right? But I think there are certain people in the world who just have a very unique skill set, and that's amazing to leverage when you're ready to go to the next level.
One more thing I'll mention. So her whole premise is from A Course in Miracles, and that if you ever read like Gabby Bernstein or follow Gabby Bernstein or Marianne Wills, this is so she's approached a coach in this Course in Miracles. She studied it intensively, and she like it. And then Gabby Bernstein is a more sort of day-to-day approachable version of it. Of that energy, then that's sort of what you're getting yourself into with her. So.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So before we wrap up, if anybody wants to take their little group photo to document what they were up to today so they can share it on social media, here's your little reminder to grab your phone, right? Because people who are watching your journey want to know how cool it is that you get to connect with a tribe at noon on a Tuesday, no matter where you are. So grab your phone, snap a pic. Don't forget to share it. You can tag me if you want. Okay, so I love that this call just kind of had a mind of its own, and we had some incredible contributions and discussions. So thank you guys for doing that. I just want to end on a quick little chat about convention, because basically, no matter where you are, whether you're there or not going, you have an opportunity, a really special opportunity next week, guys, to really deepen your understanding and your belief of what you are a part of. So first of all, I just want to say thank you to those of you guys who are making the investment to physically be there. It's a big, big deal. I know what it is like to scrape together the money to go, to feel really uneasy or stressed about leaving your home or leaving your family or making all the arrangements that are required to make life continue on while you're away. It's a big deal to travel to new places, right? I sometimes forget what it's like to not what to anticipate when you get there. So please, please, please reach out if you're feeling any little bit of uneasiness about what to expect next week. I'm more than happy to talk to you, or you more than likely have an upline who has gone a couple of times who can kind of ease any of that, feelings of unknown or anxiousness that might be approaching as we get closer to going. If you're not going and you haven't invested it's probably going to be $60 or $65 Canadian to have the live stream, please do that this week. You guys get the link for 2 weeks. So even if next week is crazy for you and you're not sure that you can catch it live, make that investment to have the link to be able to watch the content, because it is the next best thing to being there. And I know you hear everybody say it, but you just can't fully understand what you're a part of until you see it shared on the grandest scale possible that comes from Global Convention. So when you think about somebody needing to present the best face of their company, the best feeling, the best heart, the best explanation, and they're doing it in front of 40,000 people, it is put on in the most beautiful, seamless, heartfelt way. So if you can capture that even from the comfort of home, please know that it is such a worthwhile investment of your time and your money next week to have that live stream purchase. And if you're there in person, I just want to encourage you guys, come with a full phone battery, grab a backup battery, take all the pictures, take all the selfies, strike up conversation. You guys are going to be in a space with more people than you could have ever imagined who like what you like. When else does that ever happen? So when you're in lineups for registration, to get into the building, to buy swag, chat with people, right? You're going to meet people from all over the world, make incredible connections. If you carry business cards, throw them in your purse. If you just want to like make a point to say, hey, where are you from? Let's exchange email addresses. Let's get connected on Facebook right away. Some of the partnerships and people that you're going to meet next week are going to add so much value to your continued journey, because these are people just like us who are building businesses just like us, but they're doing it in different areas. And these are people and friendships that you can build to pull on for your own, mentoring and buddying up of journeys, and making connections where you can say, hey, I am a silver who's looking to expand this year too. You're probably adding, the same kind of content and value to your team that I am. Do you want to swap calls and be a fresh face for one another? So many cool connections that can come from next week. So I just really want to encourage you guys to bust out of your comfort zone and talk with people and make connections and carry that beyond just next week. This is going to change your life, guys. I know it sounds silly, and I know you may be like, just so unsure of what to expect, but you will come home with such a renewed energy around what you're a part of. So wherever you are at right now in your belief system with this business, I want you to leave this call, and I want you to go into next week holding an intense amount of proudness for what you're a part of and what you get to build and what you get to continue to fine tune and craft and share with other people. We shared a lot of good conversations today about, social media and what you get to kind of share as tidbits of your life. There are so many people out there who are craving and desiring what you guys are a part of, and they just don't know that it exists yet. You get to share that. So make sure you really capture the ins and outs of what you're building, even if you think it's mundane and uninteresting to somebody out there who's bored with their job or feeling really hopeless or feeling just really disconnected from the world. They might grab on to this little bits of stuff that you get to share, and it might be the bright light in their Facebook scroll every day. So think about how you can add value in the experiences that you guys are living right now with your oils and with building your business, and capture that. Capture as much of next week as you can. Share it out. Make your tribe. Put this on their bucket list for next year. And I just want to add on one thing when it comes to, we don't talk about this a lot, but the Premier rank. So those of you guys that are in and out of the Premier rank, building towards Premier, solid Premier, remember about this empowerment bonus that you get to earn every month. As a Premier, if you've enrolled just one person that month with a 100 PV order, you're earning the empowerment bonus, which is about $200 US. So let's just say for the next year, you stay a solid Premier, you're out there connecting, enrolling people. That translates, if you earn that bonus every month, that's about 3,100 Canadian dollars in your pocket at the end of the year. That pays for convention, that pays for leadership if you rank advanced to silver, just by doing your job as a Premier. If you could take that empowerment bonus and tuck it away, those two life-changing events that will sustain your business, sustain your belief, grow you beyond what you can experience, paid for just by being a Premier. So I want you to think about that bonus that way. Share that out with the people that you're mentoring. And if that's not what you want to use it towards, maybe you haven't been able to take a family vacation or a weekend away with your kids. That pays for that, right? So think about what $3,100 adds to your life, your value, wherever you want to reinvest that, by hitting the Premier rank. And again, we're not diving into how to get to Premier, how to sustain. I just want you guys to remember how incredibly useful that can be to recirculate into your family or into your business. So thank you guys for being on the call. If you're watching the recording, thank you for taking the time to watch this as well. I'm so pumped to see you guys next week and have breakfast with you on Saturday morning. If you're watching the live stream, I can't wait to see snippets that you're going to share. We have an ability to be super connected and unified next week just through the power of a global convention happening. So thank you guys for sharing as much as you did on this call. I'm so happy that you added value to the rest of everyone watching this, because you guys are all experiencing things in different ways, and what you share is so appreciated. So thank you guys. Have an amazing rest of your week. Happy packing, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, I'm going to just scroll through the chat here in case there's anything I've missed, but have an awesome day, guys.